But let's move on to the topic that you have been waiting for, Bo.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
our unofficial NFL draft expert, Bo Underwood, in the house.
I'm no expert.
So Georgia has been as good as it gets when it comes to NFL draft in recent years. We all know they set the record back in the 2022 draft, had 15 drafted, 5 first rounders, had 10 drafted in 2023 with 3 first rounders. And then last year, just 8 drafted, 2 in the first round. But I feel like last year was a quality over quantity year. Like all of those dudes were like year one impact. Bowers, McConkey, Lassiter, Bullard, Tyke Smith, like so many of those guys were good just from
All
day
those guys
one.
were good rookie year, man.
Yeah, I don't
Even
remember
Amarius
Amarius
Mims held
Mims
up
got
pretty well
hurt,
too.
right?
He did, but like he held up pretty well when he was playing.
Did he?
From what I
Amarius
was able
Mims,
to
just man,
gather.
that dude is a prototype
Oh
NFL
my god.
offensive
No,
lineman
he's
from
no,
day one.
that guy's built in a lab.
Yeah, absolutely. Missed Amarius Mims this past year, and then I think one of the ones that didn't make an impact was Cedric Van Pran Granger, and it's
Yeah,
like in
I
terms
don't
of
think
the Georgia players, I feel confident are gonna like succeed at the next level. Like
he'll be
Van
fine.
Pran Granger is up there
He'll be just
with the best of them.
yeah. Love said, man.
But yeah, so 2025, ESPN's Jordan Reed just released a 7-round mock draft. It had 13 going in this year's draft for Georgia. So 3 in the first round. Had Jalen Walker going 8th, Michael Williams going 10th, and Malachi Starks, 26th.
Who
So
was
what are your thoughts about? Do you think that's the order these guys go in the first round?
Yeah, I kind of think it's trending that way. I have read and seen so many things, so many mock drafts that have Jalen Walker going to Carolina. So I'm not surprised at all that you said that. Um, I personally think Georgia's best prospect in this class is Michael Williams. That's the guy who I would pick first. But I do think that the order is going to be Walker first, and then Williams, and then Starks in the first round. And I think Jared Wilson could follow kind of soon after that.
Yeah, I think he's the next one they have going in the third round in this mock draft. But yeah, I've heard some buzz about Jared Wilson too. I feel like Jalen Walker, I would have told you like honestly like late November last year that Jalen Walker was like the most underrated player in all of college football. And then this man won the damn
He did win
butt
the
kiss
bucket.
award. So I was like, okay, I guess he's not. I guess the secret's out. And now you're hearing all this talk about people comparing him to Abdul Carter, and like I don't see
Yeah,
a difference between
I
Abdul
don't,
Carter and Jalen
I don't,
Walker.
I don't know if they're that similar though. I think Carter is much more of a traditional pass rusher than Walker is.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. But I definitely
But
get
I
it.
think, and I heard one scout say like the only like reason, like I guess I can't forget how he worded it, but like essentially the biggest reason why Jalen Walker won't succeed if he doesn't succeed in the NFL is because his defensive coordinator didn't have enough of imagination, basically.
Yeah,
Like just
probably.
figure out how to use this football player. Like this dude is just a monster.
Yeah, he's a chess piece for sure, and he's also just like, I mean, he's the son of a coach. You know, he's a very intense person, very much about his business. Like he's definitely one of those guys who is built for the NFL. I think after how good Micah Parsons has turned out to be, these kind of guys where it's like sometimes I play linebacker, sometimes I play on the edge, like those kind of prospects are starting to become more and more coveted. And yeah, I mean, Jalen Walker's a freak. I don't think he's as ready to be a impact pass rusher, not impact pass rusher. I don't think he's as much of like a crazy pass rusher as maybe some other people do. Like obviously there's a lot to like about him. I mean, his speed is crazy, his first step is crazy, but I think a lot of his sack production, like you look at that Texas game for example, a lot I think all of his sacks came on either like blitzes or they sent him as a spy or something. Like they had to be they were very creative with how they used him in that game. And you know, he I don't know if Jalen Walker is ready to right away in the NFL line up one-on-one against a tackle and just win consistently. But the guy who I do kind of feel that way about
I
is
will
Mike Kelly.
say before you move on from that, I think at least one or two of those against Texas was again like straight up one-on-one on Jonathan Banks, like just going at him. And I think
Oh,
he was like questionable going into that game
yeah,
or
Kelly,
whatever, or
he
maybe
was
he was,
hit.
or maybe he was
Yeah,
was he questionable going into both games, or was was
it
the
was
OC's
the first
championship,
game.
or was it the first one? Okay.
I think it was the first game.
So, maybe take that for what it's worth, but he was the best player in college football on the defensive side of the ball that week for sure.
Oh my
But
gosh. Yeah.
Michael Williams, I think he
Oh yeah,
kind of
no,
falls in that Trayvon Walker mold of like he didn't necessarily have the sack production that you want out of that typical defensive end, but I feel like he just does his job like exactly how he's supposed to do his job and what Georgia asks of him. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was, as good as Trayvon Walker or better in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a freak to me. Like, I really just don't see how there's any way that a player like that can fail because, Walker, there's a lot of things too, like about Walker. Like, Walker has so much speed and has so much positional versatility. Like, he can be a great run defender right off the bat, I think. And his pass rush, I think, needs a little bit more development than maybe some people are saying. But, like, he's so quick and he's so fast that if he does get these one-on-one matchups, I think he will eventually start, winning them just because of how fast he is. But Michael Williams is just like a pure power rusher, but also has so much burst. And I really wonder if he had gone to a different program that was willing to just have him stand up or have him just put his hand on the dirt and kill quarterbacks every snap. I wonder what his college career might have looked like because he's insane to me. I think there's another universe where he goes to another school. Maybe he goes to Penn State or something, and he's talked about exactly the way that we're talking about Abdul Carter right now because he's a freak to me. I think that's probably like I think that's the best Georgia prospect in this draft.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think there's something to like just how Georgia uses their defensive front and just kind of you want to free up the linebackers to run around and make plays. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. The other one is Malachi Starks.
Yes.
Who had kind of maybe a disappointing 2024 season, but still a really good player. And he's projected to go, late first round, which isn't surprising to me, but I will say it is surprising if you told me last year, just turn on any random game by Georgia and one of these safeties is going first round and one of them's going seventh round is where this guy had Dan Jackson going. Like it would surprise me like that those two guys are that different because
I
Dan
agree.
Jackson looked every bit as good as Malachi Starks last year.
Maybe not every bit, just because he doesn't have the otherworldly athletic gifts that Malachi Starks has. But I do get it. I mean, full disclosure, Malachi Starks has been my favorite player on the team for like the last 2 or 3 years. I love.
So
Malachi
you can't be unbiased here.
I love Malachi Starks. I think he's a sick player. I mean, the fact that he can play, open field safety, split field safety. You can put him in the box. You can put him at star. You can put him at cornerback. Like, you probably shouldn't put him at cornerback because this man's coverage skills aren't that good, but you could. Like, he's just such a just versatile athlete. He's a freak of nature. He can track the ball like nobody else. I mean, when he is in position to make a play on the ball, he makes it. I mean, he can jump out of the gym and defend the ball in the air. Like, there's so many things to like about him. He's just a great leader off the field. He was the guy who was always getting them lined up. He comes from his personal story is pretty crazy. It's pretty inspiring. I mean, he was homeless from when he was like 3rd grade up until 6th grade. Had some hardship in his family. I think he lost his cousin pretty tragically. That's why he wears his number 24. Like, all that to say, like, this is a guy who like has had to work for everything that he's ever gotten, and you can't play all those different positions on defense if you're not just obsessed with football and really, really, really want to get better constantly. So I think Malachi Starks is made up of all the right stuff, and I think he will be a great NFL player. But I also think the reason that he's probably going to go last out of all these guys is, first of all, because he plays safety. You know, the other two guys, Jalen and Michael, are pass rushers. That's a premium position. So, it's like Starks played safety, and like you said, his 2024 season wasn't what his first two seasons were. His Alabama tape was really bad. He's got some tackling issues. He's just not big enough to make tackles in the open field, I feel like, even though he was Georgia's leading tackler last year. So, like, I get what
I don't ever really remember him missing tackles his first 2 years either.
Dude, yeah, he was bouncing off of guys against Alabama. I mean, there was a play where Jalen Milroe like completely burned the angle on him and scored, and it's like those just weren't things that he was doing his first couple of years. But I have enough faith in Malachi Starks to believe that I think he could be the next, Kyle Hamilton, Brian Branch type of Swiss Army knife in the secondary. But I do understand the concerns with his tackling and with some of his coverage abilities, but I give Malachi Starks the full stamp of approval. I think that guy's going to be awesome.
Like, this is not an insult to Malachi Starks by any means, so don't take it that way. But I'll take Javon Bullard over Malachi Starks every day of the week, if I'm being honest. Like,
Really?
I just love the way Javon Bullard plays the game. Just like that dude was he just seeks contact, just always by the ball. Like, huge Javon Bullard fan.
I agree. I am also a huge Javon Bullard fan. I was really upset when the Packers drafted him. He definitely does play. Javon Bullard is definitely more of a contact guy, definitely more just willing to hit people than Starks is. But Starks is also that kind of guy. He's just not as big as Bullard is. But I think he's also kind of wired like that. He just doesn't have the size and the power that Bullard did. But Bullard doesn't have the athleticism or the ball tracking abilities or really the versatility that Starks did, even though Bullard did play star too.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did play both those positions, played them great too. I don't think you're right. He doesn't have the raw athleticism and I think the ball skills that Malachi Starks does. And to make it clear for our listeners here, Bo Underwood was pissed as a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah.
When the Packers drafted Javon Bullard, because I'm over here as just a neutral NFL guy. Like, oh, the Packers trying to do the same thing the Eagles are doing. I'm here for it. They're Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Eric Stokes, now Javon Bullard as well. So they got that oval G already.
That's what it is.
Packers. But yeah, so then after the first round, so I think everyone agrees those guys are going in the first round. You've heard some talk about Jared Wilson maybe creeping in. It's not that common for centers. I mean, centers can get picked first round, but I don't think that's super common. But I kind of had the guys sorted as I had as day 2 picks. Only in this ESPN mock draft, only 2 of these guys they have going day 2. They have Jared Wilson and Tate Ratledge both going 3rd round. I also put like Dylan Fairchild, Trevor Etienne, Smile Munden, and Ingram Dawkins all in that group. But who do you think is a day 2 pick? Am I missing someone?
I would agree. I think all those guys are day 2 picks. Especially Wilson, I think. I'll throw a Jared Wilson fact at you. I don't know if you might have heard this, but the Jared Wilson ran like a 4.83 at the combine. The only other 300-pound offensive lineman in history of the combine to run a sub 4.85 40 is Lane Johnson, who is a first ballot Hall of Famer for the Philadelphia Eagles and a 2-time Super Bowl champion. So I know Jared Wilson only has 1 year of starting experience, but he is a freak. And he's not, I mean, he doesn't have insane size, but he's also not undersized at all. I think he's like 6'3", 310. He has insane speed. He can get the second level, third level even insanely fast. He's got good technique. He was a very good player at Georgia. I mean, you never really saw him blow any blocks. So I would pick Jared Wilson in the first round personally. Like I really would. I think he's a first round type of guy. And then right behind him.
And it's not that often, before you move on, it's not that often that you lose a starter and just everyone knows who the next guy is, and it was never even a conversation. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Jared Wilson, he's a stud. He'll be perfect.
And not only did they lose a starter, they lost a 3-year team captain. That was said by Brand that he had to replace, and he did. Like that's the kind of stuff the NFL teams are going to look at and be like, yeah, that guy is built for this. So I'm a huge Jared Wilson guy. I really think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. And I think the two other guards, Fairchild and Tay Ratledge, I get it. Fairchild's only started for a couple of years, and Ratledge has some injury history, but those guys are also just built the right way. Ratledge was a multi-time team captain. Dylan Fairchild was a guy who had to grind on the scout team for 2 years before he even got a chance to play. Those are guys that you want on your team, I really feel like. And I think what they did on the field speaks for itself. So Georgia's interior line was crazy this year, and I think all three of those guys are going to be very good players in the NFL.
I'm having flashbacks from the early Kirby years of these guys get drafted, but Kirby can't develop. Whatever those crazy narratives were early on, maybe more of a Mark Richt era. That's if Jared Wilson, Ratledge, and Fairchild are all go by the third round, it'll feel even worse that this team had the 102nd ranked rushing offense in the country, and you have 3 top 100 picks in your interior line. That's just actually. And I know there were injuries, but even when there weren't injuries, I don't understand what happened on Georgia's offensive line last year. I've seen what these guys are as recruits, and now if they're going to go to the NFL and be this, it's what? Why were they so bad in 2024?
It's the darndest thing, man. It really is.
Yeah, so maybe it's Mark Richt era flashbacks I'm experiencing. But Smile London, like we said before, I feel like his tape is as good as a lot of these other linebackers Georgia's brought out. Just the injury issues have been an issue, and I don't know. I don't think he ran the 40 right at the combine, do you know if he did?
I don't think he was completely healthy for the combine.
That may have been what it was, because I'm thinking this is a guy who the combine is kind of built for. He seemed like he was going to be a big time combine guy. Then I would say of the guys outside of the first round, and you can feel free to pick your own superlative of this, but of the guys you have outside of the first round that I feel most sure they're going to have an 8-year NFL career. I say that as I think that's long. Is Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. I feel Ingram, he just feels like the kind of guy that you're just going to plug and play, and might not be a superstar, but he's just going to be a solid defensive lineman. He's versatile, and he's just going to be solid for 10 years. Who was it? Was it Jarius Wynn? I think was the Packers for a while. There's just some of these Georgia players that just you don't even remember them, or I shouldn't say I remember them, but nationally, people don't remember these guys, and then all of a sudden you look up and this guy's been in the league for 10 years. Malik Herring is still in the league. Yes, it feels like one of those kind of guys that's just going to last for a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a lot to like about Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. He is a one-of-one type of athlete. He had the second fastest 40 time among all defensive tackles. He had the best broad jump. He had the best vertical jump. He had the best 10-yard split. He's off the charts athletic. The one thing the two things that you kind of get worried about is he had pretty bad injuries. Foot injury kept him out of most of 2023. And then 2024, you look at this guy and how athletic he is and how quick his first step is and all these things. I mean, he's truly a special athlete. And then you're well, why wasn't he better in college? And it's just because he's just so raw. I mean, I think that he is the definition of a project player, which is why I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm completely confident that he will have an 8-year NFL career. But I do completely agree that that's entirely possible if he ends up with the right coaches and the right staff that can really help refine his pass rush moves. Because right now, it's really, when I watch him, it's like, okay, he has this insane first step that just allows him to just get past a guy immediately. But if he doesn't beat a guy off that first step, he really doesn't have anything else in his bag that he can go to. So I think that's kind of what makes him not as much of a safe bet as maybe he could be, coupled with his injury history. But like, man, I mean, the upside is so there. I mean, you saw the Kentucky game, you saw the Auburn game. It's like this guy could be a monster if it works out for him.
Yeah, I really felt like, and the injuries have definitely been an issue too. I really felt like 2025, like, could be a couple of these guys' years, like Christian Miller and Ingram Dawkins on that defensive line. Like, I was gonna be excited about, and then Nate Frazier and Trevor Etienne in that backfield. Like, I feel like both of those guys had like one like breakout college year, kind of still there, but obviously I'm not. It's not a bad decision if they go get paid in the NFL. But if Etienne's a fourth rounder, which this projects him to be, is that better
right.
than being the starting running back at Georgia? Like, financially, I'm not sure.
Well, he wasn't. Here's the thing about Trevor. Trevor Etienne has never led his team in rushing in any season he's been in college.
That's true.
And there's two ways that you can look at that. You can look at that as, oh, he wasn't that productive of a player, or you can look at that, oh, he was splitting carries his whole career. He doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires. You know, he's still going to be pretty fresh for the NFL. So I think there's two different ways of looking at that, and neither of them are really wrong, I would say. But yeah, that's another guy that I think could be a pretty good NFL player right away. I mean, I like a lot of what he did in pass protection. He was very reliable as a pass catcher type of, check down guy. He has some moves to him. Georgia didn't hit a lot of explosive runs last year, as we know. We've talked about this ad nauseum, but he had plays like he had that 50-yard run against Texas in the SEC championship, and it's like you can see it, man. Like you can see. I think he's an NFL back. I really do, and I don't expect him to ever be anybody's go-to weapon on offense, but I absolutely think he can be a productive member of an NFL backfield right away. I think he has a lot of NFL traits.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this guy, we look up in 2 years and he's got 1,000-yard season with like 65 catches or something. Like, I was a huge James Cook. I was a huge James Cook fan. I never thought James Cook was going to be this good in the NFL. Like, he's way better in the NFL than I thought.
James Cook is crazy. Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if he was. I mean, I guess I would be surprised if he's as good as James Cook to this point. But as far as coming out of college, I don't feel that much differently than I felt about James Cook in terms of like how versatile he is. I kind of expected James Cook to be like a 50-50 pass catcher, because that was such a huge part of his game, and he's become like a straight up between the tackle like workhorse back.
Yeah, I fully agree.
And Etienne feels like he's built more for that. He just body wise, like he's stout.
thicker than James Cook was. He doesn't have
absolutely.
He doesn't have the same acceleration in the open field that James Cook has, but like who does?
For sure, he was Georgia's best playmaker last year by far, in my opinion. Like he obviously had the suspension versus Clemson and then missed at least 3 games at the end of the year.
3 games, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that Texas game, like he was the best player on the field for a lot of that game for Georgia, the first Texas game. And then like you said, had the big run in the SEC championship as well.
He was great against Texas in both games.
Yeah. And then the rest of the prospects they have getting drafted, I thought they were about to not have Arian Smith get drafted. Now I'm like, Arian Smith is getting drafted. This guy ran like a 4.35. Like someone is going to take a chance on that speed.
Here, the thing about Arian Smith is like, I don't know if he'll ever become an NFL receiver, but his straight line speed is so crazy. There has to be some special teams coordinator out there somewhere that is like, oh my God, I need him as my gunner. I can
Are you
so
spending
see
a
I,
6th-round pick
I
on your
can see
gunner? I
Arian
don't know.
Smith. I can see Arian Smith carving out a multi-year NFL career as just a special teams demon, and then maybe
A
he gets
little
some respect.
who was it? Well, Jason Stanley action.
Yeah,
Jason Stanley
or
was
like
a special teams
or like
specialist.
if you want an NFL comp now, I'd give you like Kadero Hodge for the Atlanta Falcons. That's the guy who just cut his teeth on special teams for like 5 years, and now
Okay.
he's like an NFL guy. I think Arian Smith could do that. I mean, he's just got the craziest long speed of anybody.
I mean, we saw what he's doing at the Senior Bowl as well.
Yeah,
I would not be shocked if
he
Arian
was
Smith
touching the
found a
ball at the
way.
Senior Bowl. I was
If
like,
this
where's
man
the
found a way to stay on an NFL roster, like I
Yeah,
don't know, he's got the tools,
yeah.
but you got to catch the ball. That's first and foremost.
catch the
I
ball.
don't see Dom Lovett getting drafted. I do see Arian Smith getting drafted though.
I don't see Dom
Um,
Lovett.
yeah, they also have Nazir Stackhouse going in the 6th, Warren Brinson going in the 5th. That's another Warren Brinson. I feel like everything I said for Ingram Dawkins, you could double for Warren Brinson. He just feels like just a super solid defensive lineman that could play a long time in the league.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna change the topic, so keep going.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, like, the thing about all these guys is, like, I know you don't want to scout the helmet ever when it comes to the NFL draft, but the thing that I got the privilege of getting to cover Georgia's pro day this year about a month ago,
Nice.
and the thing that stood out to me, I've gotten it the last 2 years, and I really believe these guys when they say it is like they say that just Georgia practices at Georgia are so hard, and the pressure is so hard, and the coaching staff is so good. And these guys these coaches have championship pedigrees, and they've coached so many NFL players. They know what it takes to get to that level. Like, I really don't know if there are many programs that prepare you to play in the NFL more than Georgia in terms of just putting you through a psychotic amount of work, and preparation and physicality to get there. So, like, this is a program that really does mold guys for the NFL. So I think the guys on the team, like an Arian Smith or like a Nazir Stackhouse, who were not the most productive college players, but did show something from time to time, like, those guys are gonna get chances because of what they're made of. Because you have to be, for Nazir Stackhouse and Arian Smith specifically, to keep going back to them, those guys were with the program since 2020. And they stuck around the whole time. Like, at a program like that, I really think it says a lot about them, and I think that's what kind of is going to show people that they are ready for the next level of football.
Absolutely. I think you can't, like, it's not obviously only about the name on the helmet, but like, you did just see what the Philadelphia Eagles did. It's like become
Literally,
comical.
dude. Like, they won a Super Bowl by scouting the helmet.
Yeah, it's become comical at this point. It's like maybe we should at least be taking a second look at some of these guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's 3 first-round picks in Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Nolan Smith. But yeah, so maybe you're not going to get those guys in the 5th round and 6th round. But it really does seem like, with what this program has kind of established itself, like, if you're going to take a shot on some guys in the 5th, 6th round, might as well take a shot on some Georgia players. If the Atlanta Falcons aren't going to do it, someone better do it.
Someone will. Something funny that Warren Brinson said during his pro day interview was, like, the Falcons staff was there. Like, Raheem Morris and Jeff Ulbrich, their defensive coordinator, were there. And somebody asked Warren Brinson, they're like, have you heard anything from the Falcons? And he was like, no, I don't know what's going on with them, man. I don't think they take Georgia players. And it was so funny.
Oh, wow.
Like, Warren Brinson
awesome.
is a very funny guy. Yeah, but he was totally right. The Falcons drafted, I think, Justin Schaefer a few years ago, and that was it.
Yeah, it feels like a like token Georgia picks, like, because there's some so that they can So they can say, look, we've drafted more, because I think they did say we've drafted more Georgia players than anybody. And you look, and they had drafted like 10 Georgia players in the last like 10, 15 years or something. But they were all like 6th or 7th round picks. It was like Thomas Brown in like the 7th round. And like, I think they drafted Akeem Dent one year, like 5th or 6th round.
Did they draft DJ Shockley, or am I making that up?
Yeah, they drafted Shockley.
Yeah,
that was probably what, 5th, like, 6th round?
Yeah,
maybe 7th round?
It had to be in the 200s, man. No offense to DJ Shockley, but
oh man, I was so high on Shockley, and then the whole thing happened with Vic, and then Shockley tears his ACL that off season. Oh man, I was heartbroken.
He's a better.
And then I was officially off the Falcons bandwagon after that.
That was it. Yeah.
Honestly, that's what did it for me. If it would have gone from Vic to Shockley, man, they would have never lost a fan. But once Vic was gone, I just didn't care about the Falcons, and I said, you know what? I'm not a bandwagon guy. I'm off. I'm off for good.
You're not the first person I've heard say
that. It was yeah, and I remember the first Georgia game the first Falcons game I ever went to. It was like 1995, and the only reason we were going was because Herschel Walker was on the Eagles at the time.
Oh yeah,
and so it was Herschel facing the Falcons. So it's like that's been in my DNA. Like we care about the Georgia players first in the NFL.
Wait, when did Herschel Walker play for the Eagles?
It must have been. I was living in my old house, my first, like 94, 95, something.
I knew he played for the Vikings and he went back to Dallas, but I did not know that he played for 2 other NFC East teams.
Yeah, he was on the Giants too, and then the Eagles.
Yeah, dang.
At one point.
Interesting.
Yeah, his stats are crazy. People talk about him like he was a bust, and his stats are insane in Dallas. Like I think he had a year with like 90 catches or something like that, and he was returning kicks. Yeah, it was insane.
Because the problem is when you're a running back, you really only have like the first 4 years of your pro career to be good, and he spent the first 3 years of his pro career.
At least 2. Is it 3 years?
He's just playing it for the USFL team, the general
putting up insane numbers also.
Yeah, no, he was like USFL MVP or something. Like,
yeah, that is true. Like that's,
I wonder what he would have turned out to be if he had just gone straight to the real league. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think when they count those stats, he's like top 5 or like top 10 in like all purpose yards or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but so it's like obviously he wasn't gonna put up those same numbers in the NFL, but maybe he has like a 1,700-yard rush season or something. You know, dude was insane.
Yeah, because the USFL, it's not like he did that in the XFL now. No, like the USFL back then had like some dudes in it, so it wasn't a joke of a league by any means.
Yeah, it's probably an NBA to ABA kind of jump. Like they had some legit players, but it's not the same as the league.
I think Bruce Smith was in that league. Like they had some guys, bro.
Flutie definitely was.
Yeah.
And then the last one we didn't name was Dan Jackson, who they have going 7th round.
Yes, we have to talk about Dan Jackson.
So, and then the three that I wrote down that I think are the only other like eligible players that I don't think will be drafted is Xavier Truss, who could be. I mean, he's had some versatility through his years. If you're drafting the name on the side of the helmet, although Georgia's O-line play last year isn't going to do a lot to warrant that. But Xavier Truss, Ben Urosic, and then Dom Lovett. John Fitzpatrick got drafted, right? Charlie Warner got drafted. So if Urosic got drafted, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. The thing that I just don't think Urosic is the same. Like those 2 guys got drafted because of their blocking straight up. Like,
yeah,
they were, especially Charlie Warner was like, Charlie Warner has made a lot of money in the NFL now because he's just a fantastic tight end 2 as a blocker. I don't think Urosic is quite on that level. What do you think about Chaz Chambliss? You think Chaz Chambliss has any shot?
Man, Chaz Chambliss, I completely left off my list. No disrespect, Chaz. Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he was undrafted, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he snuck in 6th, 7th round. I feel like that dude, like, I'm not the X's and O's guy, you know. So I'm not gonna here to tell you to run the film. Leave that to Brooks Austin and other folks. But like, I feel like Chaz Chambliss has some amazing film at times where you just see some of these plays where he just blows up a pulling
Okay.
guard, and it's like that he didn't make the tackle on that play, but he made the play. Like I feel like
Yeah,
Chaz Chambliss
he
is
has a
like
ton of plays like that.
exactly. He's that guy that just does his job. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially the conversation we're having of drafting, that name on the side of the helmet. Like this dude went through Georgia's program for 4 years. That says a lot, and started for the last two. Like that says a lot about just what
Yeah.
he can bring to the table.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, he doesn't have, freakish athleticism or really anything close to that, but he's super strong. I mean, he's like, you look at the guy and it's just like, oh my God, he's ripped. Pretty good power rusher. And also he has more coverage chops than I think he gets credit for. There were a couple plays where um, Schumann got kind of weird and would like drop him into coverage, and like he actually did pretty well. So I like Chaz Chambliss's game, I think, more than the average person does. So I would like to see him get a shot in the NFL. I think he can be a pretty good player. Maybe not, ever a starter or anything, but I think he can be a good addition to an NFL team for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely not be surprised. And take this for what it's worth, completely out of left field here. Does Chaz Chambliss look like a teen movie villain, like a bully?
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of
Like
does.
like he's the ones like in the bully and like the kid in the locker room to take steroids or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Not need to say anything about Chaz
No,
Chambliss's
he
character
looks like
here.
the villain in like a Rocky movie.
Yeah, I don't something about it. Like maybe like in Stranger Things, like that villain, like something
Yeah.
about Chaz Chambliss's vibe reminded me of that guy. I don't know.
No,
He's definitely more
I
physically
see it.
imposing. I think that dude was like 5'6", but yeah, Chaz Chambliss, something about him. It's a good vibe. It's a good swagger to have.
I agree. I totally agree. That's a good football player vibe to have for sure.
that's the kind of insight you get when you come to this show.
College football.
Exactly. So if Chambliss were to sneak into the draft, that'd give Georgia 14 guys drafted in this class. That would be a pretty insane number. I feel good about at least at very least 9 getting drafted in this class. And I'd be shocked if Warren Brinson or Stackhouse or Arian
Yeah.
Smith didn't get drafted for that.
One of those three, at least 2.
Yeah.
I think.
It's got to get double digits. So Arian Smith just running sub 4.35. Like what did he end up? Was it 4.34? I want to say.
That sounds
like
right.
those guys get drafted. Like you ran a 4.35 and you had like 40, 50 something catches, like 800 yards receiving. Like Anthony Schwartz got drafted like out of Auburn. Like that dude
Yeah.
couldn't really
Arian
play. All he could do was run a 4.3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Arian Smith definitely gets drafted. Someone's going to take a chance on that speed. Unfortunately, you're not getting like the athlete that like Mecole Hardman was. That's like the punt returner, kick returner kind of guy. Yeah, but Arian Smith is definitely, he has a skill set that you can utilize.
I agree. He can be like a Marvin Hall type of guy where it's like just let him run a 9 route every now and then, and he'll get past somebody. Like he can be that guy. Combined with I do think he can be a very good special teamer too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the special teams aspect is definitely not nothing. I think I saw a really Jameson Williams comparison at one point this offseason. I was like, whoa, let's take it easy. Jameson Williams isn't like a superstar at the next level.
He is nowhere near Jameson Williams, man.
No.
Jameson Williams his top speed like the second he gets off the line. The
quick twitch.
Williams, here, hold on. Let me show you something.
The quick twitch ability that Jameson Williams
I'm a huge Jameson Williams fan.
Like, there you go. There's the lion stuff again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't condone that. I want to give Arian Smith his flowers as much as the next guy, but let's end the Jameson Williams comparison. His best case scenario is probably Mecole Hardman, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and even then, man, Mecole Hardman went in the second round.
Yeah, I don't see anything. It's not the same level of athlete, but we wish him his best. We'll see what happens.